Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope all of you are doing well and enjoying at home and staying safe and healthy as well as studying hard. Yesterday we did anti-emetics, so we are here with the second part of anti-emetics. But before moving on to the lecture content, let's have a quick recall on what we did yesterday. We discussed about emesis, classification of emetics and antiemetics. We discussed about the pathophysiology of vomiting, the targets, receptors, site of action of various drugs, and you were asked in the assignment to draw a diagram or a flow chart showing the receptor mechanisms of various drugs, the site of action, and the various centers which are responsible for causing vomiting. We discussed about the triggering factors of vomiting, the etiological factors of vomiting. So with that, let's move on. And before moving on, I would like to share a scenario with you and let's brainstorm a bit. A physician prescribed tablet ondansetron for prophylaxis of motion sickness. Even though ondansetron is a potent antiemetic, but it didn't produce any effect in this patient. Can you explain why? So students, for a bit, think about it. First of all, the points which are highlighted in this. Ondansetron. Keep in mind, when you classify antiemetics, there are different neurotransmitters or other centers which are stimulated. So ondansetron was a 5-HT3 receptor antagonist. Then it is asked about motion sickness. Then you recall how motion sickness is caused. It was caused because of disturbance of vestibular nuclei. So although it's a very potent, very strong antiemetic, but it's not producing any clinical benefit. So let us revise the pathophysiology of vomiting, and then we will be answer this question automatically. So vomiting center was receiving inputs from cerebral cortex, from chemoreceptor trigger zone, from the vestibular nuclei, pharynx and GIT, and various receptors are involved in this, like muscarinic and H1 histaminergic receptors are present in the vestibular nuclei. The muscarinic, serotonergic and H1 receptors are present in the vomiting centers, and 5-HT3 receptors are present in the pharynx and GIT. Similarly, dopaminergic receptor D2, serotonergic and opioid receptors are present in the chemoreceptor trigger zone. So if you can see in the vestibular nuclei which is causing the motion sickness, there is the presence of muscarinic and H1 receptor. So how is it possible that we give anti-serotonergic drug which is ondansetron and it's helpful in treating the motion sickness? Because 5-HT receptor not present in the vestibular nuclei. So the explanation is the vestibular nuclei has only muscarinic and H1 histaminergic receptors. I hope you are clear with this question. So let's move on. So anticholinergics which are scopolamine, also called hyoscine, is used as transdermal patch in the treatment of motion sickness. So it's a very important MCQ, and we have already covered this in autonomic pharmacology as well. So now we discuss about the 5-HT3 receptor antagonists, which are ondansetron, granisetron. They are stimulating the vestibular, they are stimulating the vomiting center and the chemoreceptor trigger zones, and they block the serotonergic receptors in the GI mucosa, vomiting centers and chemoreceptor triggers. They are very potent antiemetics. They have a high first pass metabolism, and they're excreted by liver and kidney. So these are 5-HT3 receptor antagonists. The drugs are all of them having at the end of their name setron, like ondansetron, granisetron and dolasetron. So the indications of these drugs are in chemotherapy induced nausea and vomiting, and they are given preferably 30 minutes before chemotherapy, and also used in post-operative and post-radiation nausea and vomiting. So it is again asked a very famous or very frequently asked MCQ in your exam, the drug of choice for chemotherapy induced vomiting. सो आपको डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस दी होंगी बच्चे, लाइक यू विल बी रिटन स्कोपोलामीन भी होगी, ठीक है, H1 ब्लॉकर्स भी होंगे, D2 ब्लॉकर्स भी होंगे. बट फॉर कीमोथेरेपी इंड्यूस वॉमिटिंग वी नीड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंटीएमेटिक एंड दैट इज सेरोटोनर्जिक एंटेगनिस्ट. ठीक है, लाइक अगर आपको मोशन सिकनेस के बारे में यू विल बी आस्क्ड, the first drug comes in your mind should be scopolamine. And if there is a question like chemotherapy induced vomiting, so no other drug is relevant to that except for 5-HT3 receptor antagonist ondansetron. ठीक है, so this is we call, जैसे बच्चों को हम पढ़ाते हैं sight words, so these are the sight words. Sight like we give you an assignments, the match and mix and match the columns, so that is to improve your memory and recall so that you can easily solve the MCQs as well. So if you move on to the adverse effects of these drugs, they cause headache and constipation, and these drugs cause prolongation of Q2 interval, which is called Torsades de Pointes. With that, I would like to ask you a question, which is, name drugs which cause Torsades de Pointes other than 5-HT3 receptor antagonist. Then name 2 drug or drug groups which cause constipation. ठीक है, you have done almost, you are finishing the pharmacology, you are left with only chemotherapy and endocrine pharmacology. So you should know how many drugs or drug groups are there in you have covered so far which cause constipation. So this is these 2 questions you have to answer in your lectures assignment. So if we summarize ondansetron, they are indicated in cancer treatment, radiation therapy, post-operative nausea and vomiting, and unlabeled uses of ondansetron are bulimia, alcoholism, hyperemesis gravidarum. And hyperemesis gravidarum, as I told you previously, it's a condition in which there is excessive vomiting in the first trimester of pregnancy. So they are effective in this condition. Then they are given with dexamethasone and aprepitant if we need a very strong effect. ठीक है, or in resistant case when the patient is not getting response from any other antiemetic, then we can give a combo of all these drugs. The next group is phenothiazines and butyrophenones. Do these drug groups look familiar to you? Yes, we covered these drug groups in CNS in antipsychotics. In phenothiazines we have prochlorperazine and promethazine, and they are antipsychotics with antiemetic property as well due to D2 antagonism. Similarly, in butyrophenones we have droperidol. They also cause QT prolongation and use for post-operative nausea and vomiting. The next group is H1 blockers, which are already covered when we discussed about autocoids. And one of the very favorite questions which is frequently asked is enumerate second generation H1 blockers and what are their advantages over the first generation. So students, you have to answer this question as well for your assignment. ठीक है, as you have already covered in autocoids, but this is a revision of the topics as well. So till now I have asked 3 questions for your assignment. Number 1 was name other drugs which cause Torsades de Pointes. And then the second question was name 2 drug groups or drugs which also cause constipation. ठीक है, and the third question is enumerate second generation H1 blockers and what are the advantages over the traditional or the older or the first generation H1 blockers. So we have the drugs meclizine, cyclizine, dimenhydrinate, diphenhydramine and promethazine. Promethazine is specifically indicated in pregnancy, used by NASA for space motion sickness. So this is another MCQ which can be asked as a which antiemetic is used in pregnancy. Here we are not talking about hyperemesis gravidarum. We are asking about the usual vomiting which is seen in usually in the first trimester of pregnancy. सो प्रोमेथाजीन है, ठीक है. और H1 receptors you can recall they were present in the vestibular nuclei as well, so they are used for motion sickness also. But still the most popular drug is for motion sickness, especially for long tours, like if you are given a scenario that a person has to travel and he was traveling by ship and he has to take he has a history of motion sickness, so transdermal patches में जो available है that is scopolamine or hyoscine. The next drug group is anticholinergics, in which we have scopolamine or hyoscine. Cannabinoids, in which we have dronabinol, which is used as an adjuvant in chemotherapy-induced vomiting, and it's a psychoactive substance. Then we have Nebulon. We have neurokinin receptor antagonist, in which we have aprepitant. It's a newer drug. It's a substance P antagonist that acts by blocking the neurokinin 1 receptor. Oral route of administration, used in prevention of acute and delayed chemotherapy-induced nausea and vomiting, and for prevention of post-operative nausea and vomiting. Usually combined with 5-HT3 receptor antagonist and corticosteroid. So basically it's a stepwise process. ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ आपको वॉमिटिंग हुई हो आप डायरेक्ट एप्रीपिटेंट पे चले गए हो, ठीक है, या आप स्टेरॉइड्स पे चले गए हो. You have to start with the milder drugs, then you go for the stronger ones or more potent ones. So in chemotherapy-induced vomiting, you give 5-HT3 receptor antagonist, which is ondansetron. If the patient does not improve with that, then you can combine these kind of drugs like aprepitant and corticosteroids. Okay? So there is a question, the fourth question for your assignment. Even though both atropine and scopolamine are antimuscarinic, only scopolamine is used for the treatment of motion sickness. Why? So let us summarize the antiemetic drugs which are left. Aprepitant, it's a substance P antagonist and it is effective for the post-operative nausea and vomiting and for cancer chemotherapy induced vomiting. Cholinergic drugs में आपके पास आती है prochlorperazine, promethazine, chlorpromazine. They have effects other than antiemetics, like they are helpful in psychiatric disorders and intractable hiccups, and they also have anticholinergic properties. So it's one of the clinical use of chlorpromazine is intractable hiccups. Metoclopramide is also a dopamine antagonist. It has prokinetic effects as well as helps in the treatment of reflux. And it's a very important drug from the examination point of view, and one-liner question is asked, okay, what is the mechanism of action of metoclopramide, or you can be asked, okay, which one would you prefer between domperidone and metoclopramide and why? So you know that domperidone is free of the adverse effects of CNS because it does not cross the blood-brain barrier, hence there would be no Parkinsonian signs and symptoms. Then another drug is dronabinol, which is also having appetite stimulant effects. So if you can see the various receptors and the drugs: antihistaminergic, anticholinergics, prokinetics and antidopaminergics. Then we have prokinetics and 5-HT3 receptor antagonist stimulate the chemoreceptor trigger zone. We have 5-HT receptor antagonist, prokinetics, antidopaminergics and NK1 antagonist. Then we have cerebral cortex stimulants, we have CB1 agonist. Then we have vomiting center, and the drugs acting are the urokinin receptor 1 antagonist and 5-HT3 receptor antagonist. So in this way you can classify the drugs, and that would be easier for you to answer the question, okay, which type of vomiting is being asked in the question, and if you know which neurotransmitters are involved, which centers are involved, then it would be easy for you. So this is the summary of causes. There are many causes. odors like self-induced, overeating like bulimia, emotional distress like fear, like the prof से पहले आपने जाना है तो sometimes there is a crampy feeling and there is nausea, vomiting and even diarrhea which is psychological. Then motion or seasickness, especially some individuals when moved मरी जाते हैं तो at the height they start to vomit. Then food poisoning, which is also called gastroenteritis, and infections, various disease conditions, various injuries, organ damage, pain, especially in the patients of MI, is a very there is a painful condition and in which even the patient experiences vomiting. Then chemotherapy, radiation, anesthetics, especially of course general anesthetics, and the inhaled one. Other medications are like alcohol, harmful substance, and first trimester of pregnancy. And if we summarize the control centers, the chemoreceptor trigger zone is getting stimulation from inner ear, GI, and cerebral cortex, and then it stimulates the vomiting center, and various neurotransmitters are involved like dopamine, serotonin, histamine, acetylcholine, and substance P. Once again, the classification: anti-dopaminergics, anticholinergics, 5-HT3 receptor antagonist, prokinetics like metoclopramide, neurokinin receptor antagonist, and CB1 receptor agonist. Phosphorylated carbohydrate solutions can also be given like amterol for nausea relief. Antihistamines and the H1 blockers, not the H2. H2 you'll be covering in acid peptic disease. Okay, in the next lecture. We move on to two MCQs. Which of the following would be useful for promoting gastric emptying in a patient with a gastrostomy tube? ठीक है, बेसिकली इज आस्किंग कि गैस्ट्रिक एम्पटिंग को वही ड्रग स्टिमुलेट करेगी जो कि प्रोकाइनेटिक होगी, एंड अमंग्स दिस यू कैन इजीली आइडेंटिफाई व्हिच वन इज अ प्रोकाइनेटिक एजेंट. Yes, you are right. It's metoclopramide. Question 2 is, before allowing the patient to apply scopolamine transdermal patch, it is important to make sure the patient does not have which of the following ophthalmic conditions: age-related macular degeneration, myopia, conjunctivitis, keratoconus, or narrow-angle glaucoma. So students, if you recall from the chapter of autonomic pharmacology, scopolamine is एंटीकोलिनर्जिक. एंड एंटीकोलिनर्जिक की कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशन को अगर आप करो तो देखो तो इसमें से कौन सी कंडीशन है जिसमें आपने ये ड्रग नहीं देनी. तो ऑफ कोर्स यू नो इट्स अ ग्लॉकोमा इज एन एब्सोल्यूट कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशन फॉर द यूज ऑफ एंटीकोलिनर्जिक्स. Thank you very much for being with me and listening to me, and I hope all of you have understood this topic, and kindly submit your assignments on the WhatsApp group. With that, Allah Hafiz.